This episode contains content some may find too real for comfort. It also contains major spoilers for the game. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, Ryeniken here, and today we are going to delve into the world of Nongünz and give you an in-depth review as to whether this game is worth your money or not. Or at least, that's what I would like to say. But that isn't what today's episode is about. The format of Nongünz is one that I feel requires its own unique review. A combination of how to and why. Have I lost you yet? Good. Then you should be feeling about the same as I did when I say this game makes no gosh darn sense. Now, in a sense, the only way to explain this game is through a guide, instead of a review, to start that is. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, is spelled out for you. Now, it could just be me, as I'm a big dumb dummy head, and I totally am the only one who's dumb enough to think this game is too damn hard, or at least that's what I would like to say. However, after scouring all of the Steam reviews for this game, they all said one thing. No instruction. No clear point to this game. However, there is a point to this game, and after about 4 hours of playing, and 8 hours of research taken from patching together videos, guides, and other majorly incomplete reviews, I finally figured out the purpose of this game, and it is gosh darn horrifying. We're talking Five Nights at Freddy's or Petscop levels of hidden content in here, with a gruesome yet all too real premise. Where Petscop has underlying tones of child abuse and a smothering murder of an adopted child, yeah, that's what it's about, Nongünz deals with a similar subject. Suicide. So if you are sensitive to this particular subject, I would suggest not watching this video or playing this game, as there aren't just one little tie that makes this about said subject. There are several. But before we get into that, we need to talk about the game at its core. The premise of the game. No, what you need is a flat-out gameplay guide. Everyone, and I mean everyone who does not know how to play this game gives it a negative review, while those who do give it positive reviews, but only because of the gameplay, not the story behind it. So I feel it is my solemn duty to make sure you do not fall into this trap of melancholy ignorance. You play as a headless skeleton with a gun, and the object of the game is to kill all 5 bosses in a row without dying. This unlocks a special 4-digit code unique to your game, more on that later. The problem is, each boss is not only hard, they are damn well impossible to beat. I tried countless times to beat the first boss. I got close a couple of times, and it wasn't until I really got to know the game about 4 hours later that I was able to make it past. Now, when you start the game, you go through a very simplified tutorial, basically how to move, and then bam, it throws you into the game. No dialogue, only pictures, strange statues, and your intuition to figure things out. So here are the things I've pieced together so far. There are 4 buildings outside the dungeon area that you need to know about. There's a crypt with 4 storage tombs and 1 auto-clear tomb bro. What I mean by that is once you assemble enough body parts to fill this inventory, you create an AI skeleton who goes into the dungeon and collects items for you. There is a shop outside the dungeon where you can also buy things. You can store excess points into this wall. There are a few tiers to this wall, and each item can be filled with points, turning the item red, then blue, then green. Each represents a different level of item. The better the item, the stronger it is, and the longer it lasts. There are little cages inside the dungeon. By freeing the creatures inside, they become worshippers of yourself. You can later visit these worshippers inside the well, and they each give you passive points. This may be important later, so remember this. Now, when you first enter a dungeon, there are a few things to take note. All enemies have unique mechanics, and all of them can be killed. It may take you a few deaths to learn the mechanics, but they are fairly simple to deal with, except the damn flies. They're so damn small. In each room, there is a chest. That chest has an item card, which either boosts your stats, or is an item to create another AI skeleton. However, to open it, it drains a portion of your health. There is a balance to this. There's also an item shop, marked by a white skull and a chest room which gives better items and does not cost health. You may exit the dungeon at any time by going through an open window. In fact, it is expected that you do, as there is no way to beat this game without storing your items. Why would you need to store your items? Because if you die, you lose everything on you. All points, all weapons, all power-ups, everything. Other non-obvious mechanics include the skull pickups, which allow you to shift-click to activate a special ability for the most part. Another unique mechanic is duck jumping, which works effectively as a power jump. The only way to actively progress through this game is to accumulate enough points to buy good items, and that's where a balance is struck. Combos are everything in this game. If you can't maintain a combo, you can't get enough points. If you can, and you can maintain this combo from room to room, it can amount you to a huge wad of points. If you play this game, do this, you'll thank me later. Now, there are only two ways of leaving this dungeon: death and windows. By leaving the dungeon, you fully heal, but it also resets the dungeon, which is a small price to pay for the ability to store your items. And that is the premise of the game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll just click this quit button and see you in the next video. Or at least that's what I'd like to say. But you were playing a game within a game. And this is where the real story begins. This is where things get a little spooky. In this room you can run on a treadmill, which according to one review increases the speed in which you gain worshipper points. You can look out a telescope into nothingness, go to bed, which ends the game, play on a 4-stringed ukulele, sit back down and play more of the game, or you can interact with a box. This box has a 4-digit code, unique to your game, and the contents of that box ties everything together. Now, of course, you can't open this box until you've beaten the game, and from my searching, there's only a single person who has beaten the game so far, and that is Kirby Mercury. And he's the only one on record, as of this moment of doing this, to have opened the box. And inside that box is a gun. Shortly after, the screen goes black, and a gunshot is heard, effectively telling you that the person outside of the gaming world has ended their life. But it doesn't end there. The credits roll, and in between the credits shows scenes of wars. From what I could tell, bombings from the Vietnam War and scenes from World War II. But your guess is as good as mine on this one. Now, the fact that you play as a skeleton, I don't believe is a stylistic choice. The fact that every enemy you face is either a body part or something related to a dead body is deliberate. This game, if I may so guess, has a purpose, an underlying message, more than just its roguelike shooter. So let's tie what we know together, starting with the number 4. It is commonly known in both Chinese and Japanese culture that the number 4 is taboo, as it is very close to their word death. And this game has a lot of 4s. There are 4 numbers on the box, 4 strings on a ukulele, 4 buildings, 4 coffins in the tomb. Every enemy can be related to death in some way or another. When you open the box, you kill yourself. World War II footage is played during the credits. The name itself, Nongünz, is a reference, I'm guessing, to the fact that your character has no access to guns. The message itself, no guns. All of these things are tied together in this room, this small, cramped house in the middle of everywhere. There is no outside as detailed by the telescope. I believe the creators of this game were trying to get a message out about the mentality of war veterans. It is no secret that people who come back from wars have seen some pretty scary stuff. A lot of people suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. You could almost think that they would bar off those memories, put it in a separate area, almost as if it were a game, a separate part of their life. In a 10-year study on the changes in suicide mortality for veterans and non-veterans by gender and history of VHA service, survey from 2000 to 2010, it states that the normal suicide rate per 100,000 people for men is 20.9 and women is 5.2, whereas ex-military found numbers of 32.1 and 28.7, and that's just for those who went through with it. By playing this game, I feel creators were trying to give players a glimpse of what one of these veterans were. Your home is cramped, empty, but safe. Claustrophobic even. Everywhere else as represented by the game is out of your head. But hey, that's just what I think. I believe there's something more to this game. Something more than even what I've said so far. The names on your followers are so odd and so specific. I swear I could reach out and touch the answer, but I can't. I almost feel like starting a subreddit to try to figure out what the mystery behind this game is. You know, I can't be the only one who thinks that a dialogue-free game really has a lot to say. Let me know in the comments if you think there is something here, if I'm just stretching out a whole bunch of coincidences. As for the value of this game, it's under $8, so just do yourself a favor and pick it up yourself. I'm actually surprised how little information there is on this game. There's no Wikipedia, not many videos, nothing. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.